There it is, episode 33 of Joystick Maverick, brought to you as always by Tough Wraps. If you want your supplements, you want your gear, you want everything to make you feel and look better, go to toughwraps.com and use Joystick at checkout to get 10% off. Stay tough. I want to get that out of the way this week. Just hot out the gate. Let's go. Get a sponsor. Thank you very much again, as always, to Tough Wraps for that sponsorship. We are forever grateful. Here we are, episode 33. We're just a couple of weeks away from our 1-year anniversary episode on March 25th. And Dom, welcome to the show.
We're doing the show naked.
Yeah, baby. From here down. The funny thing is, we're both going to look like we're still wearing sweaters.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Just wool carpeted sweaters. I'm gonna braid mine.
I don't have a hairy chest like you do. I know you do.
What? Yeah, I have to shave a separation between my beard and my chest hair. Yeah, it's a gift and a curse. You know, I go to the beach and people are like, "Are you okay, ma'am?" And they're like, "Oh, that's my husband." And then they kind of like, "Are you sure?" It looks like a giant dog, or Professor Lupin from Harry Potter. But enough self-deprecation for one episode. Let's move right along. Hey, man, I know it's Friday, right? We're taking up some people's favorite day of the week. Some people thank God for it, in fact. But yesterday was awesome. And we know why it was awesome.
It was so good. I can't wait to talk about that at the end of the show.
Dude. So before we even get into the nitty-gritty of our final round, which is obviously, hopefully to everybody else, very obvious, it's the Batman. Just came out yesterday, or came out today officially. It was released for fans on the 1st of March. We saw it yesterday, the early showings, which are now just kind of like a fuzzy showings. Like, there's no like official midnight release now. It's like, they're like, we can make a bunch more money during COVID time, so we just open it a day early. My theater sat about 100 people. Maybe there was 20. I mean, maybe. I had an entire row left and right to myself. And yet somehow, and this is my one pet peeve of theaters, somehow a very tall person sat in front of me and a very tall person sat behind me. So I got a little bit of bumps from the back and I got my knees smashed in the front. And I was like, of all people in the whole row. And then I go, well, you know what? They probably bought the tickets for their whole group because they sat in the center just like me. Whatever. I'm happy to have the opportunity sitting there wearing a mask for 3 hours. But damn, was it worth it?
This is your first movie theater movie in a long time, isn't it?
It's my first big release. So I went to, my last one was No Way Home, and that was kind of the same thing. Right. And people behind me were crying, when I was crying, which is great. I love a group cry. It's very therapeutic. Me too. Except for when you hear the group behind you being like, "How is it sadder the second time?" And I'm like, "Oh. So you've already seen this and it's still sad? Okay, can't wait to buy it at home and cry whenever I feel like." So that's great.
So my theater was pretty full. I think the thing is that the movie had its premiere night on Wednesday. Like a bunch of theaters showed it on Wednesday. I had no idea. My theater was pretty full. See, the theater that I go to, so in where I live, there isn't like a major theater chain.
I love that. Episode 33. You're learning. Don't even say where you live.
Where I live. Almost doxed myself. Where I live, there aren't major movie theater chain, like a movie theater chain like right by my house. There's like a local smaller one. But for like large releases, we go to an AMC, which is about 35 minutes away.
Right.
Which they have like the Dolby theater, so it's like reclining seats, and even if there are people sitting next to you, they're not that close to you. You're not like sitting on top of each other, and if you have people in front of you, there's not really a bad seat in the house.
Plus, like the sound quality there, obviously, it would just rattle your teeth together,
like rumbling. Yeah.
Theater
was really quiet. There were a few like jokesters in the theater that were like talking a lot during the trailers, and I was like, don't make me get up and smack this shit out of you for ruining my Batman experience. Like if you're getting hyped about the movie, that's one thing, but if you're just gonna start like popping off at the mouth, like it wouldn't have flown. Not after the week that I have had professionally. It would not have flown.
I'm not gonna lie to you, the entire time I'm sitting there during the trailers, same thing. Yeah. And it was like it was non-exclusive to like age groups at all. It was all ages and sizes. It was just like, okay, please tell me that you are such a fan of everything you're seeing that you respect it and you want to tell the person you're with so much about it that their brain hurts. But when it comes to go time, you're going to shut the hell up. And it's exactly what happened.
Shut the fuck up.
Because...
And there was a dude next to me who was on his phone like a whole bunch. No. And I was like, bro, just don't fucking come to the theater. Just don't come. Like, if you're going to act like that, just don't come.
I'm going to dump a whole soda on you. Yeah. I mean, and thankfully, it sounds like for me, at least, there was not that many, like, people that violated my personal rules. And again, I think COVID has really changed my brain, right? COVID, I'm at home, I'm watching on my big screen TV. I just got whatever popcorn and Sour Patch Kids and Cherry Cokes, all I want. Same food that I want. At the same time, it's silence. And it's golden. Now I have a child. I'm kind of used to like the ambiance of like murmuring or whatever. But if I'm going to a movie theater and I'm risking it, everybody better shut the fuck up. I did think
after watching this movie yesterday, I would have benefited from this movie a lot better if I watched it at home. And I loved the movie. Like, we'll get into it.
But you're an advocate for the reverse. Yeah.
I was like, so like Marvel movies have always been go to the theater, experience that.
Yep.
This movie, I was like, I think I would have preferred to watch it at home.
Yeah.
Because I think that what I would want to do would be like rewind shit and like pause it for a moment.
Yes.
And all that stuff.
I can't wait to get into the gritty details.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
Because there was so much. If you're a slow reader, you're fucked, right? And we'll get there.
Yeah.
But I digress. No offense to anybody who reads at my speed and has to hear it internally, but at least this episode is not going to be that terrible until the end. So we're going to at least give you something good and something valuable up front, and then we'll ruin your day. This week in the state of gaming, heavy hitters, because we let a little bit go off last week, right? Like we were like, okay, look, the big thing is all these games came out, and we've had about 16 minutes till even like smell the cases, right? Or even just download them and have the load screen come up. First up is Horizon Forbidden West, a sequel in its own right, a massive sequel though. I mean, even the
I got
reviews.
A really funny thing about this.
Oh, please,
like really funny, real quick.
Start it up on top. Go for it. You take over, please.
So my partner and I, we were at the movies last night, and a trailer for this game came up, and she was like, "This looks awesome. Do you have this?" And I'm like, "No," and she's like, "Are you going to play this?" And I'm like, "I would love to. Have it not been for 14 other games that have come out in the last 3 months that I'm just completely backlogged in right now that we're still going to get into." But I was like, "This looks fucking sweet. Like, I would love to play this, but I don't have the."
I watched a 30-minute review, and I was just like, "Holy crap!" And I feel like even the 30 minutes of just watching different gameplay throughout different events, they did a great job. I think it was IGN. They did a great job of not really blowing, I guess, the climax or storyline, which is really, to me, what I care about when it comes to games like this, like one-player games.
Yeah.
The mechanics and the effects, all of that looks insane.
It looks gorgeous.
It's beautiful.
The first Horizon looked incredible. It was like one of the best-looking PlayStation games of all time.
Yeah, and I think sequels have a really hard time of like matching their originator, right? This looks pretty freaking good. And before I forget, Michael Mahaffey, thank you. For all, as always, man in the chair, show notes, just looking the way you do, existing in this universe, put in the chat that Encanto makes him cry every time.
Which is interesting for a white man.
Yeah.
Like, it's very interesting for a white man. I think it's very interesting for a white man.
I give it Klimt.
Encanto for me, like, really hits home because of the fact that it's based on a true story of every Latin grandmother is gaslighting their whole family.
That's why you cry though, because mi abuela is being just so mean, just so mean, muy mal, right? But for me, I'm just like,
love my grandmother.
I don't like being misunderstood, or I don't feel like I'm special. And then at the same time, I'm also crying because what's her face with the super strong chick. She feels like she's got to fix everybody's.
That
Louisa,
made me fall like crazy. Yeah,
she's got to fix everybody's problems.
I'm the oldest. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
I felt weak. Encanto, I said the most unrealistic part of that movie is the end of that movie where the grandmother owns up to her actions and takes responsibility.
Oh yeah, that's not happening. That's not happening.
Yeah.
No.
Not a Latin family.
If it was
absolutely not.
I don't know about the Latin part personally, gonna have to lean in on your experience for that. However,
Yeah.
if it was like a forced ghost at the end, maybe.
Maybe. The grandmother's dead.
She's like, oh, I get to live forever and tell you how terrible you are?
Right.
Let me do that right now. Okay. He said family trauma isn't a Hispanic thing. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate you.
That is a Hispanic thing, and I will completely take that from you. Already have everything, like good credit, you can catch cabs, all of that.
The
like,
Latinx community has
familial trauma.
Just totally owned familial trauma. Yeah, that's you know what? At least he said family and not familia trauma. Like that would have been on the nose.
I would have banned him if he had said familia.
Suddenly, Mikhail Mahaffey would have shown up in the chat instead of Michael Mahaffey. But no, that definitely veered from what we were talking about, and I apologize, but I had to make sure chat was heard. But Horizon Forbidden West looks pretty freaking great, and a lot of people are saying it's a contender for Game of the Year, which is big britches to fill.
Which is crazy because 3 more games we're talking about today
Bro.
for fucking Game of the Year.
Yeah, I don't think. You want to talk about like just jamming in all your wins up front? I'm kind of like the rest of the year's kind of fucked. Like next up, Destiny 2: The Witch Queen. I have zero context. I have zero knowledge. I'm sorry. I'm throwing it all on you. I'm gonna try to pepper in banter, but wish me luck.
So Destiny 2 is like the game that I put the most hours in. Like if you pull up. Let's look at Steam. I have it pulled up right now. On Steam, I have an playtime of 932 hours and 70 minutes.
Oh my god!
That's just Steam. That doesn't include PlayStation.
You're almost 1/10 of the way to perfecting a craft.
Yeah.
Like you could play the piano pretty well if you put that level of effort in.
So, Destiny 2: Witch Queen, delayed from last year. Supposed to come out in around November of last year. Actually, around August, September of last year. Bungie's new expansion.
Right.
I won't bore you with the details, but it's
but they were bought by PlayStation. Yep.
Yeah, it's the best that Destiny 2's ever been.
Really?
It's literally the best that Destiny 2's ever been.
We've been talking about sequels kind of like taking it in the shins. You really think it's that much better? What sets it apart from the last expansion? Besides, obviously,
the storytelling is out of this world. The gameplay changes that they have made. One of the big things is that they're taking for each character you have 4 subclasses now. 3 that are light based, 1 that is darkness based, and the darkness one is stasis. The light ones are solar, void, and arc.
Okay.
And what they have said is that in these expansions, that when the stasis subclass came out, it was highly customizable. It was really cool. You could do like different fragments and different play styles and different builds and everything. Very much like an MMO subclass. The older subclasses, Void, Solar, and Arc, have been around since Destiny 1. All of those have stayed relatively the same. You essentially pick one ability, one super, all of that.
Okay.
With Witch Queen, they came out and did Void 3.0. So they redid the entire Void subclass for all 3 classes to make it like the Stasis one where you can make builds and all of that stuff.
Sure.
It works perfectly. It changes the play style of the game. It allows you to really kind of theory craft and build craft and all of that. They added weapon crafting into the game. There are all these mechanics that they added into the raid world first competition starts tomorrow, and no one has even seen what the raid looks like. I'm super excited to watch.
I like
will
that.
not be partaking.
I like when a competition doesn't even tell you what's happening. It's like Hunger Games, right? Like you're just oh shit, and then it goes.
Right. So. The game is the best that it's ever been, and when this came out, I was pretty cool on it. I was like, I played Destiny for thousands of hours at this point between 1 and 2. I'm probably gonna take a backseat to this, and then like I was off for 2 days last week, and I think I spent like 36 hours fucking playing this.
I feel like I got a message from you like
already.
I totally just hit the storyline in like 8 hours. And I was like, oh my god,
like, fucking light capped.
How many P breaks?
I have like all the weapons that you need to have. Like, it's insane. But it's great. The game is really great. It's in a really cool spot. It looks beautiful. The new environments for the throne world that you're on for Savathûn is really great, and the storytelling is fucking bonkers.
Now for Destiny, there's definitely a multiplayer side of this, right? Like, are the same mechanics?
It's almost entirely
they translate over to multiplayer? Like, do you play multiplayer, or are you more like I'm right now on the storyline path?
So, I play Destiny like I play WoW. Where like,
tell me more.
I'll find like a core group, and like I will stick with that group for
that's what's up
the whole time.
That's what's up.
So like, you know, I have a few friends that have been playing Destiny for years. You know, I played. You know, I'll name a few. Cloud Strife, I think 127. I've been playing with him since Destiny 1. Mach T, PJ, all of these guys that I played with for years at this
shout out. Yeah.
An expansion will bring them back. And like I said, like literally like today, you know, I get done with work and I hop on Destiny and I just have my, like, I'm not even playing. Like I'm like kind of cleaning up from work and all that stuff. And I'm just chatting with these guys on PlayStation chat. And I was raiding, you know, about an hour ago with a group of people that I played Final Fantasy 14 with for a while that I also played Destiny with. And like the community is great. Like you get a lot of outliers in this community, like you do with WoW, where everybody's toxic and shit. But like for the most part, the community is really cool.
But you can cultivate your own, universe, really.
Yeah, but yeah, the multiplayer aspect is awesome, and they've really leaned into it. Like the way that the campaign is built this time is there's two difficulties. There's normal and then there's legendary, and this is the first time that they did a legendary campaign like they did with Halo. And doing the legendary campaign like gives you all these extra benefits. It's not like just make it hard to be hard. Like you get like a whole bunch of extra shit, which is really cool.
But do you get any different like storylines or any extra like level to it?
No storylines. Like the biggest thing is like, so the light cap is 1550 for powerful and 1560 for pinnacle. Yeah. And you start at 1350. So you start 200 light below.
Got
it. If you do the story on legendary, you get a full set of gear at 1520. So it bumps you up 170 light just by doing that.
Now again, does that translate over to like multiplayer? Is everybody equal there?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because like that kind of puts you at the end game. It's like getting gear in Warcraft.
Yeah.
The better gear that you get, the higher equipment that you can get, the higher, you can do heroic raids, you can do all that shit. It's just like that.
That's cool. That's cool.
So it's cool. I love it. It is awesome.
So in your opinion, best in a while or best overall?
Best, I would say best overall. This gets compared to the Taken King, which was the third Destiny expansion for Destiny 1. Because it was Dark Below, House of Wolves, Taken King was the third one.
And it's not just because of the monarchy theme there. Like, that's not just like an obvious lay person trying to figure out, like, Queen and King. Next is Jester and Joker.
So the Taken King and the Witch Queen are brother and sister. I can't get into this. There's a lot. If we want to do like a Destiny lore,
brother and sister, they call those prince and princesses. But I feel like king and queen are married.
They didn't rule at the same time.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah,
because there's
a whole lot there.
That was getting weird.
They've compared this to the Taken King being like, the Taken King was essentially the apex of Destiny 1. It was like the best that game has ever been.
Got it.
This is probably better than the Taken King overall, and it is.
Shit.
It's incredible. I love it.
Big words from big man. All right, next up. Guess what?
His WoW group. Okay, so Mike brings up a great point. He says his WoW group doesn't include anybody he knows in real life. That is absolutely true. Because all of you people have children and don't have schedules like I do to where I can throw myself into a game until 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. It's our fault. It's our fault.
It's all you. No. I'm a terrible friend when it comes to Warcraft. He's absolutely right. I'll be like, yeah, dude, I'll run shit with you, and then I'm in like heroic raid, and like I'll get gear, and I'll be like, bye. I gotta go raid. Goodbye. I'm gonna go find a. He is absolutely right.
Hey man, I respect it. I think like several weeks in a row, I was like, yeah, I'll be online on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying.
Never showed up.
It's not just my fault.
Just like a text like the next day, like, my bad, bro.
My bad.
You know,
it's not like you needed a tank.
It's not like I just copy and paste this from last week. Yeah. My bad. Well, unfortunately, ragging on your friends is coming to an end. Let's go to the next game, Elden Ring, where it's solo play. I got to tell you.
This isn't just solo play.
What?
This is multiplayer as well.
Oh, like campaign modes multiplayer? or like against each other.
Just like Dark Souls, you can summon people to actually actual other players to come in and help you.
Oh, That's cool. Okay. So is it the whole campaign though? Or is it like one-offs? Like you kind of.
I don't think there's a campaign. I'll be 100% honest with you. I bought this game, and then I played Witch Queen, and then I haven't fucking put it down.
Well, I mean, when I say campaign, I mean like there's a beginning of this game and there's an end of this game. You think it's just open world the whole time? There's constantly bigger beasts.
I always feel like Dark Souls and Demon Souls don't really have campaigns.
Okay.
It's like you're right. I think there is an actual end to the game.
Right.
But I think it's so non-linear that like you could go straight to the end of the game
and never see like a credit roll either.
Right.
You're just like, 'cause there's so much more to do. Yeah.
Yeah. There's so much talk about accessibility in games and like there should be an easy mode for games, which I'm completely for. Like Mike and I talked about this for hours the other night. Actually today. I think it was today. Mike and I talked for a couple of hours, which is uncharacteristic based on our work schedules. But like we were able to like kind of connect for an hour today and was like, he's playing Elden Ring and he fucking loves it. And he's like, I was like, dude, yeah. He was like, I just like to be overpowered. Like that's why I keep playing the first area over and over again. It's because I like to like blow through things because I don't want my games to be super difficult.
Happy just said in the chat.
Agree with
he said there's a story. He confirmed there's a story. So hopefully
there is a story. Yeah.
But no, what I really mean is like I feel like this game is for me is kind of contender for game of the year. Hang on, I'm gonna pause.
Kind of contender. People are saying this is the greatest fucking game of all time.
Yeah. Well, let me at least pepper in chat's comments here. There are required bosses to progress the story. Okay, so there is kind of like a progression. And I say kind of sarcastically because I feel like it's been such a long waiting period for this, right? On top of that, usually when games come out, there's always going to be something kind of goofy with it, like Cyberpunk, right? There's a bunch of memes about how just jacked up it was, or like any game. There's going to be something that's like it's kind of funky, and for the most part, everything I heard about it, which was a lot, not just like in our communities online, but like even at work, which is like people being like, dude, I just logged on and just got murdered for hours. Like every time I thought I was doing something right, I was learning how wrong I was. 4 hours. And then they were like, okay, then I thought maybe I'm tired, I need to take a break. Went to bed, woke up a little early, kids and all that. So they get up early, they renewed, got coffee. Again, murdered. And then I look at online to find out like, are there, memes or short little clips of like just something goofy or something like that makes the game seem like seriously super easy. And most of the time it wasn't. It was like a guy battling a bear that's the same ratio of man to bear in real life, and then all of a sudden there's a bear 6 times the size of a normal bear, and you've got a half a second to realize that thing's coming at you because of the point of view you have. Oh my god, like I would hate to constantly be thinking about trees that might come to life or grass monsters or whatever it is, because that to me makes my stress level go up, and that's what I think makes it so hard. And I find that the lack of clips I see for the game, that means people are more embarrassed by how often they're getting murdered in different ways that they don't want to put it online until, of course, I'm sure you saw the clip where like basically the almost no armored person was just battling.
He's just like doing this. Fucking
yeah, that to me, I was like, all right. So it's 99.9% the hardest game ever. But
there are people that do shit like that with all these games. Like, fuck you. Like, fuck you and the horse you rode in on. I don't make games so hard that I can't play them. And then, like, don't gatekeep that shit. Like, people on the internet are fucking terrible. They're like, just get good, pussy. And I'm like, that's not how this works.
Just get good. Just be better. It's like,
and then people are like, you shouldn't buy you shouldn't buy this game because it's a Dark Souls game. I was like, okay. When you fucking twats come out and say this is the best game of all time, like,
what makes you think you're not going to buy it?
Super Mario World. Super Mario World is the best game of
all time. Yes.
Yeah, like you're saying that this is the best game of all time. Fuck every other game. This is the best game of all time. Do you expect people that are not part of the Dark Souls and Demon Souls fucking cult to not come in and buy that game and be like, oh, like I want to play the best game of all time? No, fuck you. You can't have it both ways. You can't be some niche fucking community.
Yeah.
And
who would gatekeep this?
Gatekeep all of your people. Like, fuck y'all.
It makes no sense.
Absolutely not.
I mean, it doesn't make any sense. And people that do that, I guess this have never worked on something for 5 years and then just pushed it out into the world. And if you have, great. I mean, kindergartners, right?
It's the same way I feel about people who rag on fucking developers. Like,
exactly.
Who rag on, like, game developers are like, do you test your game? Yeah, absolutely.
Constantly.
I'm sure that they have QA. Like, there's no studio in the world that doesn't have fucking QA. Have you ever brought a product to launch?
But at the same time, you're never going to get the same, like...
Because I have.
You're never going to get the same, like, bag of dice mentality that people have. Like, I'm going to click on this button and then this one. For reasons.
How did I know that if you put your dick on the screen that the application would break? I don't think about shit like that.
I heard a good joke today, and you triggered me, so I'm going to say it. This guy said that his dick was featured... his dick was in the Guinness World Book of Records. And then the librarian asked him to take it out.
I shouldn't have been drinking.
Thank you for that. Thank you.
That's really good. I'm going to use that.
All right, and then last one. What's the difference between a chromosome and a hormone? I've never heard of chromosome. But I have heard of hormone. Yeah. All right, moving right along. Elden Ring.
IGN gave this game a 10, by the way.
Yeah, masterpiece, by the way, which is a word I'm going to use later for obvious reasons.
There was a kindafunny.com. So Kinda Funny Greg Miller, who famously said fuck Bobby Kotick at the DICE Awards, which I don't think we talked about on the show.
Is it Kinda Funny Games or Kinda Funny... What's the name of the show? Kinda Funny?
Kinda Funny Games.
There
Yeah, Kinda Funny.
All right.
I don't know if we talked about it on the show. Greg Miller got on stage during the DICE Awards.
Where he's like, F
said, fuck
Bobby
Kotick.
And then he did the letter first, like, F him. And then everybody's like...
And then doubled down. It was like, yeah, fuck that guy.
He's the worst.
I just listened to their predictions episode of they do like a predictions episode every year at the beginning of the year of like shit that's gonna happen in gaming. And their whole thing what?
Mahavy got it. Our algorithms are aligned.
Is that from We Got Chocolates?
Yes, it is, Mahavy. Our algorithms are so in sync. Get out of my brain. It's only weird that your first name has several of the letters that my wife's first name has. So we're all in sync. Our time of the month is the same. It's great.
I totally love... Oh, they... Kinda Funny... One of their predictions was they were going to give... IGN was going to give 3 games a 10 in 2022.
Were they all these?
And I think they've already given 2.
Oh, Jesus. What do you think the next one would be? Or based on that show, what do they say? Or
they
just
didn't
in
say
general?
They didn't say specific games, but like
10,
the
10,
next
10.
one, if Breath of the Wild 2 comes out this year, then it's definitely getting a 10.
That's fair.
If
That's
Breath
probably
of the
fair.
Wild 2 does make Street Date this year. It'll get a 10.
That's
I don't know
probably
what
fair.
else is coming out this year.
Yeah, but I feel like I hate when people do that. Oh, they're going to give at least 3 of these. Is that because historically for the past 10 years they've given 3, 10 ratings or whatever? Like, that's my inner like sports gambler. What are the Vegas odds on that? But I digress. That's not this kind of show. Coming right up and coming soon. Guess what, man? I actually got really thrilled about this first trailer. Like stupid excited about Bullet Train featuring
Yeah, right.
Brad Pitt.
Fucking nowhere.
Dude, yeah. Obviously, you've seen the trailer with Sandra Bullock and Channing Tatum, and they're lost in the jungle or whatever, and Brad Pitt shows up out of nowhere to like save Sandra Bullock. Clearly, it doesn't work out because he's not in the rest of the movie. And she's like, "Why are you so good looking?" He's like, "My dad was a weatherman." And I'm like, "That's a great line." You just wasted it in the trailer. Why would you blow that?
I saw that trailer for the first time in fucking. At the movie last night, and I was like, "What is this movie?" And Ashley looks at me, and she's like, "Doesn't this movie look fucking terrible, but also hilarious at the same time?"
I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm definitely gonna watch it. I think for me, I like the fact that like for the past couple of things that I truly remember Brad Pitt being in. It's been like really serious like pieces like what was the movie where he was in a tank war or in a tank?
Fury.
Thank you very much. Fury. Shia LaBeouf's in that movie. A couple other people. Really. Oh God. Punisher's in that movie, right? So that I thought was a good movie. Obviously, we've got Inglourious Basterds, things like that. But kind of sprinkled in recently. It's been Deadpool 2 as the Invisible Man. You've got this now, and then this kind of was like another jarring, out of left field. The hell? Why is he in this? And at the very beginning of this trailer, I was like, "Oh, this is awesome!" And then Brad Pitt shows up. I'm like, "Now it looks more awesome." Like, why am I more excited? But anyway, a train killer, Ladybug, wants to give up the life, but is pulled back in by his handler, Maria Beetle, in order to collect a briefcase on a bullet train heading from Tokyo to
Mallorca.
Mallorca? Are you sure?
What is it?
Morioka.
Mallorca.
That's what I said.
You're right.
Once on board, he and the other competing assassins on board discover that their objectives are all connected. We got Brad Pitt, Joey King, Aaron Taylor Johnson. For those that don't remember Aaron Taylor Johnson, I'm pretty sure that is Quicksilver. Correct me if I'm wrong. He's got 3 names, right? Brian Tyree Henry, a.k.a. from The Eternals and Atlanta.
He's
many
good
more.
in Atlanta. Paperboy, all about my Paperboy.
Yes, sir. This movie is set to come out the day before my birthday, 2022. My birthday will come up again later. Just saying. So July 15th, 2022.
Can we make all of the release dates around your birthday?
Can we?
Like Elden Ring comes out 6 months before my birthday.
I just want to have like, they're all relative. I think
they're
it's
all
great.
Relative to your birthday.
I'm totally down with
like
that.
Doctor
Actually,
Strange it's like, what day is your birthday?
Oh, it's only 94 days before my birthday, right? Like whatever it is.
There you go. Yeah, see,
because it's funny. I love myself, love my name, love my birthday. Because nobody else does. I gotta at least try to pick up the slack, right? But I mean, middle of July, it's like my birthday month. I mean, guess who shares my birthday? It's not just me. It's Will Ferrell. So I mean, you can't double lose on it. But this looks good. I definitely am. I'm curious. Sandra Bullock's also in this?
Nuh-uh.
She's the chick on the phone. She's Maria Beetle.
Is this just a campaign for the other movie?
This has got to be like a casting director's wet dream. If Channing Tatum shows up, I'm gonna lose it.
I'm suing somebody.
Just even if he gets murdered, and like, hey, what's up, bro? Beep. Just first scene. Like, I want to leave this life. I lost my brother, and it's Channing Tatum. Just gone. That'd be wild. Anyway, the trailer was great. I hope it's fantastic. I'm definitely gonna watch it regardless. But right next after it, Fantastic Beasts 3, The Secrets of Dumbledore. Let's return to the magic, Dom. Let's do it.
There's so much magic in this trailer that I'm fucking hyped, bro.
It's
this
so
cool.
Good. It's so good. I honestly like. I've got a favorite character, and I'm gonna throw it out there. I want you to try to guess it. I know you've seen the first 2. Guess what? He's in it. Any idea?
Kowalski.
Yeah, bro. Of course, I want that human to have a wand, man. Hell yeah. Can I keep this? Yes, you can. I've
been saying since the beginning, And like, I get that Johnny Depp has gone through some shit. I'd been saying since the beginning, since before they even casted this movie.
I know where you're going.
That Mads Mikkelsen would be the best Grindelwald
the whole time
of all time.
The whole time.
I've been saying it the whole
time.
And now I'm getting my vindication. And now it looks like I'm right because you see him for all of 30 seconds in this trailer and you're like, yeah, I get the charisma.
I mean, who would sit across from Dumbledore and say, I'm going to burn place down with or without you? And you're like, I bet he could do it. I bet he could do it. Only that guy. Premise, for those that don't know and have, just an aversion for Harry Potter, it's set in the 1930s. The story leads up to the Wizarding World's involvement in World War II and will explore the magical communities in Bhutan, Germany, and China in addition to previously established locations, including the United States and the UK. With Gellert? Have I been saying his name weird? Anyway, Grindelwald's power rapidly growing. Gellert Grindelwald. His power rapidly growing. Albus Dumbledore entrusts Newt Scamander and his friends with a mission leading to a clash with Grindelwald's army. Dumbledore must also decide how long he will stay on the sidelines in the approaching war. I'm excited about it for many reasons. Obviously, in the Harry Potter kind of universe, before any of these, we knew that Dumbledore defeats Grindelwald, right? We find out later that they were not just, friends, they were more than friends. They were not just like brothers, they were closer than brothers. They were lovers, man. Get past it. However, when you love somebody, what's better than a prenup? Hey, look, we're both powerful. We're both badass. Let's make a little prenup. Let's make this little blood pack so that we can't fight and hurt each other. That sounds great. So now you can just throw spells at each other and nothing happens. Uh-oh. Guess what? I'm going to turn evil and try to kill all the non-magic people in the world.
Non-magic.
Didn't see that coming. Whoopsies. Well, here we are. Hopefully, we'll get a cool way of disabling this blood pact between the two of them. Again, you mentioned Johnny Depp's departure. I think the only credence to the storyline that kind of works is the fact that Polyjuice Potion seems to just run in the streets. You just open a tap, take some glass, get a little bit of that Polyjuice Potion in your cup, and then turn to somebody else for a little bit because, we had Colin Farrell in the first movie, then we had Johnny Depp in the second one, now we've got Mads Mikkelsen. So shouldn't be too hard to make that stretch. I'm just curious if they're going to actually address it and have Johnny Depp's face melt away in the film. So,
oh, that would be interesting.
We'll see how it goes. Otherwise, we're just going to assume he's a Time Lord and just regenerated, and we're not allowed to ask questions. But next up, Upload Season 2. Did you ever watch this?
I watched this is the one with Robbie Amell?
Yes, sir.
Couldn't get into it.
What?
I tried it. I couldn't get into it.
What? Yeah. What? Why not? Why?
Ashley said the same thing. She was like, I love the show. And I'm like, I really didn't.
It's so great. He's getting assassinated by future people, and then his rich girlfriend is dumb and then melts his skull and he gets uploaded into the internet. It's just, I know it's far-fetched, but once you get past that, we're looking at a digital terrifying prison. Come on. That's the best. In 2033, humans are able to upload themselves into a virtual afterlife of their choosing. When computer programmer Nathan dies prematurely, he is uploaded to the very expensive Lakeview, but then finds himself under the thumb of his possessive, still living girlfriend, Ingrid. As Nathan adjusts to the pros and cons of digital heaven, he bonds with Nora, his living customer service rep. Nora struggles with the pressures of her job, her dying father who does not want to be uploaded, and her growing feelings for Nathan while slowly coming to believe that Nathan was murdered. Yeah. That's right away. My favorite thing with movies is when the audience has a secret with one character in the show that every other character doesn't know. We're just waiting. Just look at this. Look at the clip. Look at the clip. He's screaming, don't do this. And then they murder him or whatever. And then every character is like, oh, he's just faking it. There's no proof. And we're like, we saw it. There's so many people in this room that saw it. Why didn't you see it? I love movies like that. It's my favorite. But no, it was at least fairly quickly like comical. And what I love is the fact that like Lakeview, while in this universe is a very expensive neighborhood, it's truly kind of like flipping the middle finger at like a freemium model where you get all this stuff and you can technically be here for free. But if you want to actually enjoy anything at all, it's going to cost you some paper. And his girlfriend is just the worst human being. She had a funeral for him, brought all his friends, and he's dead. He's literally just a screen. And he gets a camera view of what's happening in the real world and gets to see all his friends show up and hit on his girlfriend. Like, and can't do shit about it because, he's dead and he's digital.
Right.
Like, it's torture. And of course, she's like, oh, I don't even like Scott or whatever. He just is so grabby. And he's like, what do you mean grabby? Like something he could never do again. But I can't wait for the new season coming on March 11th. But again, I'm so happy that we changed this lightning round. I might just start calling it like headlines. I don't want to make slideshows for, but now it's lightning round yet again. But I'll read it quickly. Marvel's Netflix shows and Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. are set to drop on Disney Plus on March 16th. Futurama star John DiMaggio joins Hulu's revival, saying, I'm back, baby!
Love that.
You can bite my shiny metal. And then finally, the most confusing sentence of the day, Evan Rachel Wood will play Madonna in the Weird Al Yankovic biopic starring Daniel Radcliffe.
That's someone that has a lot of names. Evan Rachel Wood. She was in True Blood.
Weird Al Yankovic. Daniel Radcliffe. What?
Daniel Radcliffe looks great as Weird Al Yankovic.
Really?
He looks great.
I haven't seen a photo. I mean,
he looks great.
Here we are on the internet. You could probably put it up. But I can't wait to see what happens. I'm gonna watch it, obviously. Weird Al.
Yeah, absolutely.
Running with Scissors was my favorite comedic album growing up. Had the prequel instead of oh my goodness, American Pie. It was long episode 1. That whole basically just did the entire movie in that song, which is great. And unfortunately, I could sing a lot of it, and I won't. You're welcome. Next up is new releases. I have not watched the first episode yet, but I have watched most of the other seasons. Season 5 is right around where I lost some steam. However, this show that people can't see on the screen is Peaky Blinders. Season 6 just dropped. I love the show.
This is another show that I really want to get into that I've really tried. And I'm just like... I love everyone that is in this show. And I'm just like...
It's a slow burn.
I find more joy out of it watching clips of it on TikTok than I do the whole show.
I mean, honestly, I'm right there with you. I honestly have to think that there's one joke or one line I use all the time, and it's really whenever someone questions what I'm doing. Ernie, why are you going to the store? Ernie, why did you buy that thing? Why did you just buy an iPad Mini even when you have an iPad Pro? Because we can. Because we fucking can.
We fucking can. I love the no fighting one. No fight.
No fight.
No fucking fighting. And then someone bumps him and he just fucking throws him on the ground.
So there's plenty of things like that in this show, and that's why I keep coming back to it. I'm just going to quickly read the... Let me see. I'm not... Whoa. Thank you, Mahaffey. Man, Mahaffey. Chef's kiss. These show notes this week are fantastic. I'm just going to read the synopsis for Season 6 or Series 6. If you're from the UK, the 6th series begins the 5th of December 1933 when Prohibition was repealed in the United States. Makes total sense. The Nazi Party has also obtained power in Germany, leading to a growth in membership of the British Union of Fascists. Okay, so we got newly renewed boozing plus fascists and a bunch of Irish people. I can't fucking wait. And I did not wear this hat on purpose, although I look great next to this.
You do look great.
Ensemble cast.
Where do I fit?
I feel like I'm closer to the guy in the back there. He's definitely an older gentleman, looking a little side-eyed, but that's all right. None of these gruff, stronger men up front. But I digress. And by the way, like, if you were looking at the cast list here, everybody's in this. I mean, Cillian Murphy, Sam Neill, Helen McCrory. It's the list goes on. I mean, I'm just scrolling through probably 30 people, 35 people. It's holy shit. This to me is like Band of Brothers when it comes to just people that if you know them, you know them. If you didn't know them, give it 5 years and you'll definitely know them. Next up. Am I losing you? Are you there, Don? Mm-mm. Okay, good. Next up is Guardians of Justice. Have you seen this trailer or seen anything about this?
Not a whole lot.
I saw like a teaser trailer and it was like the worst. And I was like, okay, is this going to be one of those like indie sci-fi future things that I'm just going to be like, okay, I'm going to watch it because it just looks goofy? The first episode is like it. Everything about this is clear. It's making fun of DC, but not. Like everything about it. So the premise is when their seemingly fearless leader self-destructs, a team of troubled superheroes must confront festering evil in the world and in themselves. That is an underselling for the very first episode where it's kind of present day, if you will. Yeah. But back in like right after World War II, World War III actually kicked off, and like shit just started going terrible. And this alien from outer space shows up, Marvelous Man, and he basically ends war in a day. And he's played by Will Lee, and antics ensue after that. So he's basically
that sounds interesting,
dude. It's awesome. It's awesome just because William Lee is famous in his own right. You've got Jane Seymour, you've got Tiffany Hines, Derek Mears, Denise Richards, and then
Wildman?
his like, yes, and then playing his Batman counterpart known as Nighthawk is Diamond Dallas Page.
That's what Mike said. DDP, baby.
Diamond Dallas.
That's
dude.
a name I haven't heard in a long
time.
Dude.
Like this, I was like, okay, I saw DDP, and I was like, I'm in. And then I opened the very first episode. Long story short, okay, the banners is going up for this. This banner is going up. In the very first several seconds of this movie or this series, basically Superman is so exhausted from just trying to save humanity for 40 years that he's like, you fuckers just don't get it. I keep trying to save you every day. And then when I close my eyes, all I hear is like, you didn't save us. You didn't do enough. And he's just over it. And basically puts a kryptonite bullet in his mouth and just blows his brains out on live television. Yeah, it's wild. And the president is played by, I can't remember the actor's name from Stargate, the TV series. He had a huge symbol on his forehead. Either way, it's wild, man. And it kicks things off. His girlfriend.
I really want to watch this.
Dude, it's so.
You like really sold me on it.
It's bonkers. This. There's like the way they do storytelling is pretty great because there's definitely like live sets involved. I just named a bunch of famous people who look amazing, and then you get to like they do like cartoon or claymation. Like it's just different styles of animation that kind of give a little bit of storytelling so far. Again, I'm only in the first episode. And I'm thrilled. I can't wait to watch the rest of it. I just wish I had more time. It's just dope. Dope. Unfortunately, we go straight from what I feel is like a super exciting kind of show to Apple TV's Ben Stiller project, Severance. All right, so Severance is actually about the company Lumen Industries that uses a severance medical procedure to separate the non-work memories of some of their employees from their work memories. Long story short, it sounds like if you have had something traumatic happen or you just want to leave, not really even give a shit about your day job, you can go try to work for this company, Lumen Industries, and they will do a procedure that when you enter their premises, separates the mind that you have outside of work from the mind you have inside of work.
I like that premise. If I could just like flip a switch to where if I don't have to think about work when I'm not at work. Because like literally like that's my whole life.
You're like, I just mentioned at the top of the show
like,
about how I
hate
my day job.
Like even right now. Like even right now I'm thinking about work. Even right now I'm like in the middle of like work crap.
The downside is like they don't have any correlation with the outside world. And what I mean by correlation, they don't have any understanding of where they're from, what their parents look like. They don't know if they've ever been late or not. They can only assume. If they get into work and they look down at their arms and they got bruises, they're just like, I guess my outside person went like skiing or some shit.
But you tell me that you go to work for 8 hours a day and all you got to think about is work. Like, you don't got to worry about any of the shit going on at home or none of, like, that stuff. And then, like, you clock out, you walk out the building, and then, like, you're your normal self. And then you don't got to think about anything that happens at work.
Maybe.
How that shit worked.
If I can get, like, if I can get a survey from my inner self. If I can get a survey from my inner self of, like, are they torturing me? Like, how happy am I down there?
Yeah, like.
But there's none of that. There's just, like, hey, here's an intro video of your Audi being like, hey, shit sucks. You're welcome for not knowing what the fuck I know.
It's like 50 first dates.
Yeah. But so like of course you've got Adam Scott, and I really enjoy his work. He's basically the main character of this thing. You've got Christopher Walken in it. You've got John Turturro, Patricia Arquette.
Speaking of John Turturro, we're going to talk about him later on in the show.
Yes, sir. Yeah, Zach Cherry. Zach Cherry, if I remember quickly, this actor, he is the guy that was on Shang-Chi, the bus ride, where he's like, guys, I'm gonna film this dude. He's doing some karate moves. I took some.
That's the guy who says, "Yo, Spider-Man, do a backflip."
Yeah, do a backflip.
He's like the new Stan Lee of all the Marvel movies, where he just shows up and does random shit.
Yeah, that's that guy. He's in it.
That's that Mike Mahaffey says that I look like.
Oh shit, that's fucked up. That's fucked up. You're nothing like that guy.
Fucked up.
You're nothing like that guy.
I'm a big brown guy. I'm okay with that.
Nah, man, you're unique. You're on this show. He's on that show. They're different. Okay. But seriously though, that guy's pretty funny. He's fucking great in this fucking show. So it's not even an insult.
I would take this in a heartbeat, even if they were doing fucked up shit to me while I was at work.
Oh. Well, then I think you would love this show. I think you'll love this show. It's 4 episodes in. Michelle,
I'm gonna watch it, and then we're gonna get back on the show, and I'll be like, hey, even more so now than ever. I will absolutely take this deal.
It's funny. Michelle's like, I can't watch that. You know, it's depressing. I'm like, yeah, not really though.
Whatever.
It's mystery and intrigue and whatever. I won't. I got the spoiler banners up, but I'm gonna put them down. I'll hesitate.
2 shows that we've talked about. Like, I'm fucking in. Are you kidding me?
This last show I have not seen is called Suspicion. But I'm really excited to see it, and I'll tell you why. Suspicion. 5 people, 3 men and 2 women. That's really the point. Have their lives turned upside down after being identified by London police as suspects in the kidnapping and subsequent disappearance of American media mogul Catherine Newman, who's played by Uma Thurman, when her son disappears, named Leonardo. My biggest nod here is, even though I haven't seen it, I'm just going to name 5 shows, and Dom, you can tell me if you've seen these shows, you've heard of these shows, you're interested in these shows. 5 in a row. Big Bang Theory.
Like it.
Krypton from Sci-Fi.
Never watched it.
Scorpion from CBS. Or World War Z. That's a movie.
Was Scorpion the one about the guy that was on the spectrum that was really smart?
Yes or no EQ.
Yep, got him.
Next, we've got Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
It was okay.
What? You're dead to me. And then finally, last one, Merlin from BBC.
Oh, the BBC one?
Yes.
I liked it.
All right, so these 5 people, they're under investigation. They're actually from those 5 shows. So the first guy, Kunal Nayar, he's actually Raj Koothrappali from Big Bang. Natalie, let's see, Georgina Campbell, who reminds me of Tessa Thompson. She is actually Lyta Zod in Krypton on Sci-Fi that I enjoyed. LDS Gable, he's actually from Scorpion, a.k.a. the doctor who was trying to tell Brad Pitt, what's up, Brad Pitt, yet again in this episode.
Got it. Yeah, okay.
Boop, boop,
I'm tracking.
Shoots himself in the face. And then Elizabeth Henstridge, she's actually Gemma Simmons from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
And then finally...
She looks just like... she talks just... Not looks. She talks just like Emma Watson.
Yes, she does. Yes, she does. Nice. And then finally, Angel Colby. She actually played Guinevere in Merlin. So a bunch of big names, a bunch of big shows. So they've got some acting chops. Obviously, Apple's not hiring, schlubs or whatever. And then Uma Thurman. Yeah. I mean...
Mike said the do a flip guy is awesome. Absolutely.
Do a flip!
Do a flip!
Yeah, exactly. So good. But no, I'm excited about this show. It's been around for a while.
That sounds really cool. That sounds right up my alley, too.
I definitely think it's worth checking out for anybody who's into that kind of like, get away from the cops mystery genre and these
Have
actors.
you been watching these kind of dramas recently? Like Defending Jacob reminds me of. Did you watch this or
I did not.
Easttown.
So that's definitely those two in particular. I think the reason I haven't is because of their affiliation with Marvel. When I see Chris Evans, I see Jeremy Renner. I'm like, yeah.
Jeremy Renner's in what?
He's Hawkeye.
No, the mayor of Easttown, not the mayor of something. The mayor one is mayor of Easttown is what's her face? Kate Winslet.
Oh yeah, saw that one.
Yeah,
the mayor,
you're
like a horse, mayor. Not like the mayor.
Yeah, the mayor is the one with Jeremy Renner.
The mayor, yeah.
That's by the same guy who did.
Which one?
I thought was it Dennis Villeneuve?
The one with Kate Winslet was fantastic. She nailed that like Philadelphia accent.
Yeah.
That what's the name of that county over there? Oh, God, that's gonna bother me. God damn it. Yeah, she nailed that accent. That whole I joined in like 2 episodes in. Michelle's like, I've been binging this show. It's so great. And it's like, okay, let's watch it. And all of a sudden, the last 3 episodes, I'm like, is it on? When does it come on? Saturday? I don't care. Let's watch it. Awesome.
Defending Jacob was interesting. It's very hard to see Chris Evans in a role other than Captain America at this point. But
I mean, I did enjoy his like Knives Out appearance.
Ashley and I played a game the other day. Before we finish this, we played a game the other day where it was like you name an actor and you name their best movie and their worst movie. And for Chris Evans, I said his worst movie is Not Another Teen Movie or Fantastic Four 2: Rise of the Silver Surfer.
Those would be my choices.
His best movie, I think his best movie is Knives Out. He was fucking incredible.
So good. It's so good. I realized like he's just
dick.
Yeah, he's basically just being like if he could go to a party, have a couple of beers, and then just be like, I'm gonna pick on that person tonight. But like everybody in the room. Awesome. Oh man, this episode's kind of like actually humming along. Ready? We're about an hour in. We're about to get into our biggest topic here. But before we do that,
sorry.
let's take a moment to thank our sponsor, Tough Wraps. Again, go to toughwraps.com. Put in that code Joystick for 10% off your purchase. Please. And then next, final round.
Do it.
Boom. All
right, so we want to do like first like minute or two, no spoilers. How we thought about the movie.
Yeah, I think that's great. I want to do first 2 minutes how we felt about it, and then I want to do 3 things. I want to follow the Prestige montage line of things. So remember the movie Prestige, Christopher Nolan film, not related to this Batman. Yeah. He mentioned how the first part of any good trick, you show something ordinary, right? And the second part of any good trick, you show something.
Are you slipping into Michael Caine right now? Because it sounds like you're kind of slipping into Michael Caine right now.
For the second part of any trick, you show the audience something extraordinary, and then for the third part of a trick, the Prestige, then you bring the extraordinary back. Yeah, so that's kind of how I felt about this movie. And we'll get there. First 2 minutes, I enjoyed it. And what I enjoyed about it was two things. Not a Bruce Wayne movie. This was a Batman movie.
You barely saw Bruce Wayne at all.
And if he was, he had his eye makeup on, which thank you for keeping that in. They just didn't suddenly disappear.
Thank God.
Number two, what I think it did really, really well was emulate the feeling of a comic book. In the comics, Batman does things like narrate to himself. He talks about it. He helps talk the audience through it with those monologues. We get these kind of asides as a reader, and we got that through the narration of the film. Those things that nod to a comic, the slow build-up of story arcs. We got the main story arc that is what the point of the entire series is. We get these kind of one-off, questionable series that we get through one or two comics, and then all of a sudden, 12 issues later, we've got an entire story arc that we call XYZ, right? Like, that's what this movie was in 3 hours. And maybe it could have taken longer in a series or something like that, but for 3 hours, one movie, fuck yes, let's go.
Yeah. This was, as a Batman film, probably the best Batman movie I've seen. I think that a lot of what made the Nolan Batman trilogy great were its set pieces.
Yes.
Your training montage with Ra's al Ghul
on the pillars and all that.
I thought Bale was, after watching Pattinson as year 2 Batman, I thought Bale was a little old for that age of Batman.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So, but as a Batman movie, this hit all the marks. The first being that Gotham is a shithole. Gotham is always portrayed as a shithole, but especially in the Nolan movies, not the first one, because the first one you still got that Gotham was a shithole, but in the Dark Knight and in the Dark Knight Rises, it looked very much like Chicago or Pittsburgh or anything like that. Where there were very nice parts of those movies. This Gotham in this movie looks like shit everywhere.
I got a very much Tim Burton vibe from even just the downtown, like all the different ads. It was big. It was bigger, double the size of like New York's Times Square, right? All of those signs. I felt like you could have been claustrophobic just standing in front of that entire building of just signs. Right.
I love that this is a detective movie. Like I say from that out, it's essentially if Batman did the movie Seven.
Yes.
And Seven is my favorite movie of all time. Like start to finish. I love that movie. David Fincher at his best. I think that this movie does what I wanted the Joker to do better.
Nice.
It was just enough Batman to make me happy that it was a Batman movie, but also grounded enough that there are parts of it that make you feel uneasy because it's kind of like the world that we're living in. And when we get into spoilers, we'll talk a little bit about that.
For sure.
Because there's one set piece in particular that made Ashley feel very uneasy, and I completely agree with her. But yeah, as a film, I loved it. There are absolutely gripes that I have with the movie. I think legitimate criticisms, and I think that you and I briefly spoke about it, and Mike too. The dialogue can get a little bit choppy and
for
campy.
Sure. But
performance-wise, Pattinson fucking killed it.
Hell yeah.
As Batman, Ashley said he plays brooding so fucking well. And he says she's like, I know how much he hates that he did the movies, the Twilight movies, but those prepared him to be a brooding Bruce Wayne. But I know that he could do both, and that's what's got me so fucking excited for this, because I know that Pattinson can also be that rich, arrogant asshole.
What was he? What was the movie he was in with Timothy Chalamet, where he was like the Prince of France? And he just shows up and he's talking mad shit. He's
king.
He's like, I'm just going to fucking kill you. Mm-hmm. Like he's definitely got that cock of the walk. Like, I own this room, even when I'm surrounded by enemies. Fuck you in the face, right? And then you get this. To your point, you get this brooding. He said a lot without doing shit in a lot of this film, right? And that to me is what really, really carried it. You ready to kind of jump into our 3-part?
I love it.
Digest. All right. So I will. Spoiler. All right. The banners are up. Let me give you the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. First things first. To me, the things that break this up is our fear or lack of fear or resolution of fear with the Riddler. Those are the 3 kind of phases for me. The first part, we're building a fear, right? The mayor is at home. His family is out doing Halloween things on Halloween night, which I love that. The minute was like Thursday, October 31st. I was like, it's Halloween. Oh my God, it's Halloween. I got so amped up about it. And my favorite was just like, you see clearly a nice building. You see a family with a child. The child is dressed up like a ninja, basically. You're like, is this the Wayne family? We're about to see them get.
That's what I'm saying.
Get got,
so, the fake out right in the beginning, like that made me audibly roll my eyes when I saw a young kid and a mom and a dad, and I was like, "Fuck! If we're gonna see the Waynes get killed right in the beginning of this movie again, like I'm literally gonna lose my fucking mind because I've had enough of it."
And to me, if you were gonna do that, it wouldn't have been a ninja, right? It would have been Zorro. Like the kid would have been Zorro because that's what Batman, originally was based off of. But like, and then all of a sudden, there's the mayor. He's watching TV and he's basically just watching himself get bodied by his competition. Which was refreshing, and I audibly was like, "Oh shit!" When he moved out of frame and Riddler standing behind him, I was like, "Oh, that was great." Because again, you're going into the Batman not thinking horror movie, and then all of a sudden, there's the murderer behind you. You're like, "Oh shit, this is about to get real." So that to me, right off the bat, set the tone. This is not. Your Mr. Freeze kind of movie. It was very much going to be a different film,
right?
And that starts off the opening of the trick. Really, is that he's scary. He's not fucking around. Here's this murder weapon that at first just looks like a hammer with a weird end on it, and very, very angry, kind of bludgeoning and beating. And off we go. I love the fact that it's an early Batman, and we get that kind of pretty initially because of Gordon's timeline. So if Gordon was commissioner, which is something we don't know. Okay, we roll into the movie. What year is it? How many years is Batman doing his thing? We get Gordon kind of feels like he's got the room under control, and then all of a sudden here comes a bearded, hefty man being like, "Gordon, what the fuck are you doing?" And he's like, "I'm sorry, Commissioner." Like, thank you, Jeffrey Wright, for playing dominant and then meek in the same scene.
Damn, I fucking love Jeffrey Wright.
So good. So good.
He's so goddamn good.
And then we get that from it. And it rolls from there. I think many of the things, again, and while I'm saying all this, I feel like that's just the first 5 or 6 minutes. You've seen most of that in the trailer.
Most of the trailers that you see is the first 5 or 6 minutes of the movie.
Yeah. And then you, of course, see, the monologue which I described earlier, where he's kind of setting up the fact that the bat signal comes on. We got a signal now. It's not just a calling; it's a warning. And they think I'm in the darkness. I am the darkness, because all villains are kind of looking in the dark, like, shit. Is he right there? Is he about to get my ass? And then, of course, he just bodies all those bad guys at the very beginning of the movie. I know you're going to know it, so I'm going to ask. The kid who's clearly trying to join the gang. He's trying to join the gang, half maked up. What is he from?
I feel like so I didn't look him up. He looks like the guy who played Tim Drake in Titans. I thought it was him. I feel like it's him. And if it's not,
they look exactly similar.
Exactly alike. He looks just like the kid who plays Tim Drake in Titans, which is
feel like it is
so interesting.
Yeah, of all choices, right? And just like, huh? Is that the guy? So of course, my whole brain is broken because I'm seeing this dude and like, you're also in the Batman universe. What?
That whole opening scene had me fucking hooked. The monologue, the way it was shot, the score, and then him walking out of the fucking shadows.
The slow steps. The fact that they all heard it like it was ambient. Like they couldn't tell where it was coming from. And it's just like him slowly walking up. And that happens several times throughout the film of just like, it's very tempered, very like, it gives you the presence of, there's confidence in that stride. At the same time, there's no fear. There's no anticipation of battle. It's just like, okay, I'm going to keep calm because they're going to be erratic. I don't need to be erratic on top of it, right? Like that to me was big. And it's so silly that you can read into something so simple. But you've got a lot of other Batman movies or other action movies that are very quick paced, and there's a lot of hit and flash and boom. But this movie was so damn long.
It was very long.
That you had time to play with.
And that's part of the reason why I said I think I would have benefited more if I watched this movie at home.
Yeah.
Because it did feel long at some points. I was like, fuck, this is like when you think it's kind of like the climax of the movie, you got like an hour left. And I was like,
that's what I'm saying. What? Like that's why I break it into those three pieces. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. It did feel long in the 2000, but it's like, but as soon as it started feeling long for me, like they completely like brought me back. Like after the Riddler is caught, after he kills Carmine Falcone, I was like, all right, we got to be getting to the end of the movie. And then there's the whole shit at Gotham Square Garden. But when he's interrogating him and the Riddler starts saying Bruce,
and he just stares straight ahead.
Oh, fuck, he knows.
He just stares straight ahead.
He's Bruce Wayne. And I was like, that's insane. I didn't see that coming. And then like 5 minutes later, we almost got them all.
And he's just like,
we missed Bruce Wayne. And I'm like, fuck.
And then doesn't know he's Bruce and then Wayne. His eyes turn. You're like, oh! Like the whole audience just goes, but really his eyes are doing all of that with just twitch, just a little twitch. Like, you're so close. If I had moved, I would have given myself away, you know. But yeah, I love. By the way, my favorite. So rewind it. So of course things kind of kick off. The Riddler starts murdering people. We start getting these little follow the magic riddle storyline thing, which is awesome. I was happy enough that I caught some of the riddles right away. Others I was a little bit slow on. So if I felt smart yet stupid. And
I got like the first one, and that was it. What
justice?
What
right?
does? It's like the dead lie.
Yeah, we lie. They lie still, right?
Yeah. I got that.
But like, what I like is that there's this the build up, right? The very beginning of the trick is the build up of fear, and then I remembered it's called the turn. The turn is where the end of that turn is that we're no longer afraid of the Riddler because he's caught by the police. Right now, he's behind bars. Batman's got him right where you want, and that's when the Prestige shows up, and all of a sudden he's like, "Oh, I thought you were smarter than I gave you credit for." And you're like, "What?" And all of a sudden, you start to realize shit's about to go off again. We got a whole nother act.
That was what had Ashley sideways, like the whole scene of them in Gotham Square Garden and them like loading guns up top and
bloating the seawall.
Very reminiscent of what happened in Las Vegas. She was like, that was super unnerving because like shit like that can happen.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I know, like it's very grounded in reality.
What irks me too is that the whole movie we're seeing these photos, right? We're seeing photos of people walking out of the. It's gonna bother me. 44 below is the secret bar, the other chill lounge, whatever it's called, where the penguin resides. But we're all seeing the same photos. We're seeing different people from the same exact angle.
Fuck, I didn't even fucking realize that.
Yeah, and that's what gets me after the fact.
Son of a bitch.
It's all the same angle. So every time you saw a picture of the mayor walking out, of the DA, if you saw the picture of the commissioner, it's all the same angle. So it's clearly from the same window.
I had no idea.
And nobody fucking thought to look goddamn up. Look up. And he's like, bring him out into the light. It's the same window he shoots him from. Like, dude. Yeah, and that's when you go, like, where are these pictures coming from? Yeah, physically, where are they coming from? Nobody's going to... What? It just happens to be some sleuth who just loves this angle of the same front door? No. I mean, granted, you could say, oh, that might have been security footage ripped from a camera that's on the corner. Okay, fine.
Right.
But at least check it out, man.
So, I have a question.
Fired at
What
me.
is the one thing that fell flattest for you?
Iceberg Lounge. Okay, well, I'm gonna probably be hated for my opinion on this. I think every scene that had Zoe Kravitz in it, where she wasn't trying to be romantic with Robert Pattinson, was great. I think their romance fell flat.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
Okay.
I say that because I'm a very passionate man, and no amount of leather would have kept me away from the cat
Zoe Kravitz.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's already weird enough that we got the voyeuristic kind of view of her apartment, right? And now he's got like contacts and earpieces. That dude's trying to be inside her the entire movie.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, now I'm going to Bloodhaven. There's going to be nothing? Going to go to Bloodhaven? You better follow her for a little bit. Like, hey, let's you want to see my scars? Like, let's go. Like, come on, man. But the other part of that, I think, is same thing. Is just the pace of it. There's parts that were like they started to feel slow, and instead of getting bitchy about it personally, I started having to kind of tell myself, like, this is a part of the comic where you go 3 or 4 pages, and there's 3 or 4 pages of panels that are showing you details. And if you miss the details, you're a fucker. Like, for instance, Thomas Elliot being the reporter, right?
The reporter's name is not Thomas Elliot.
It's not
the
Thomas?
reporter's name, I think, is like, it's like Gerald Elliot or something. But but it says Hush right after that.
Yeah.
So they're obviously setting up something with Hush.
Right. The other thing
is the best Batman story of all time.
Tell me about them tattoos, bro. And then, of course, I think what also fell flat for me, and I hate to be that guy, was the Joker's appearance. I love the frazzled hair.
I don't fucking need it.
But
like, you don't need it. Like,
the nose prosthetic was pointless.
I love Barry Keoghan. I really do.
Yeah.
I thought his appearance as Druig in Eternals was
wonderful.
Probably the highlight of that movie for me.
Yeah.
I am with Mike. I'm just jokered out.
I agree. He didn't need to be there.
Jokered out. Like, he didn't need to be there. Ash said if they keep him in Arkham for a movie or two, and it's not the next movie's the Joker, then I think that I would be ready for a Joker in movie 3 or maybe movie 4. So Pattinson already said what he wants to do next with this, and that's court. And I will fucking, in this universe, I will lose my fucking mind if Court of Owls is a thing.
I will, first off, before I forget, that Court of Owls reminds me immediately that the bat signal on the chest is useful. In Court of Owls, it was a light. It was like a flashlight. Yeah. In this, it's the fucking batarang. It's awesome. But Court of Owls is so fucking good. It's, again, hitting that higher up of rich to-do fuckers with too much money and too much time.
Dude. And I think that's like, that was a big prevalent thing in this movie. The thing that hit me the hardest the most was how beautifully this movie was shot.
Oh, yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
The kick in after after he's done at the mayor's house for the first investigation, and he's on his motorcycle back to the cave, and that Nirvana cover comes on
underneath the bridge.
Yeah, I was like, this is fucking cool. Again, this is what I wanted Joker to be. This is what I wanted Joaquin Phoenix's Joker to be. I think Joaquin Phoenix's Joker movie is a great movie. I think it is not a Joker movie. It is literally just this is what happens when a guy who is completely untreated with mental health issues fucking loses his mind and all of that.
No, I agree.
Like I said, there was enough Batman in this movie for it to still feel like a Batman movie. Batman has some of the best rogues gallery in fucking comics. Like,
do you want to list off the ones they kind of trickled out on this one? We got Riddler, we got Joker. Just two more.
Riddler,
right?
Joker, Hush.
We saw it. We saw it for a little bit, I think. This is speculation.
Who?
When he's about to fucking basically die or pass out as Catwoman's about to die, he rips that patch off.
Yeah.
And it's bright green.
It's green.
It's so bright, glowing green. It's got to be Venom, dude.
She was like, "What did you?" I was like, "What do you think that was?" She was like, "I think it was adrenaline." It's like, "It's a bright green. I think it's Venom."
And then, especially his reaction, it's not just like, "I'm up and awake." I'm angry, pissed, and brutal.
Like fucking going crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. We also have Penguin. I mean, Penguin's in it. We haven't talked about Penguin at all. I mean, fucking Colin Farrell is unrecognizable.
If I hadn't just watched Hot Ones with Colin Farrell, I would not have recognized that voice.
Yeah.
But it's his tone of voice. I mean, any accent I do, I can do a little bit, but I always come out. Colin Farrell came out, but it was so good, man. It was, to me, it was
John
the way
Turturro was great too.
The mount. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, John
Turturro. He's good in every fucking thing he does.
He's the Jesus. And the way the mouth movement of the prosthetics, like sometimes when you see prosthetics, everything wrinkles in a weird way. Like that's clearly pulling on real skin to make a way for like a big piece of like silicone or foam. It was so natural looking. I mean, if nothing else, the scars were just aligned with the way his mouth would have creased naturally to make the scar look like the thing that was crinkling in the weird way. And I love the fact that it was practical effects for jumping that car. And the flames were real and all that kind of stuff. It was like a one-off shot. Mm-hmm. It looked so good. And then him just slowly walking over. Same thing. Mahaffey called this out. He said the sound design of his walk is crazy. You can definitely hear spurs. You heard it with that like subway fight. You heard it when he was in the church walking up to the DA. And then I think you can definitely feel it, at least in the music, when he's walking up to the car. But when he slowly peers around the edge of the window, like I couldn't help but sit there in the audience and be like, "Are we looking at me? Hello?"
Yeah,
it was lights out awesome. Just damn it.
And the last thing I'll say about the movie, Batman gets his fucking ass kicked,
dude,
a lot in this movie.
Yeah,
and Mike says it lowers the stakes because essentially he's unkillable in the movie. However, Batman gets the shit kicked out of him a lot. He gets shot a whole lot. He gets his ass whooped a whole lot. He gets his fucking ass kicked.
I love the fact that like we have basically the same exact explosion twice, right? The first time we get it, Batman is literally right in front of the explosives as that dude's face gets blown off. And he wakes up and he's ready to fight the entire Gotham PD. Same explosion from Alfred, though. Granted, he's behind a desk. Alfred's still out. Alfred's nothing to be fucked with. He's got a cane, all right, that's fine. He might not have his cufflinks in that moment, but still, and gets a little bit of a coma from it. Dude, I mean, to me, I know there's like debate whether or not Batman is a metahuman with a little bit more of a healing factor, blah, 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 blah. But in this movie, that doesn't count, right? Until proven otherwise.
Right.
That's just sheer determination and just general fuckery. I mean, Mahaffey called it out that he enjoyed when he got to the top of Gotham PD and went to jump and was like, "Oh shit," like,
this is a lot higher.
Yeah, and then had to quickly zip up that wingsuit up, and then takes the wingsuit down. I'm like, okay, this is where we get that quick like cool scene from the trailer, and we do, and then we get the scene not from the trailer
where he gets fucking hit by a train.
Dude, when he tries, he's clearly eyeballing that like truck to land on it. He rips the parachute, and instead the parachute catches on like a light. He hits that truck, hits the top of the overpass, and just skips for about 30 yards. And he's like, gets up like, ah! I audibly laughed out loud, and I felt so goofy because nobody else did. Everybody else was like, ooh, and I'm just like, bah! Like, oh my god, yes. Yeah, this is definitely year 2. And again, there's so many multiple like small things we catch, right? Year 2 meaning like because Batman is clearly narrating over the film, but he's also writing everything he's saying down, and we see that because he says his last sentence, and we see him writing this last sentence in a journal, and he closes the journal, and it's the Gotham Project, year 2. Yeah. And if I recall, when he goes to Bloodhaven, like a couple of years ago, he called it the Bloodhaven Project, if I remember right. So like, it's definitely, again, so many nods to the comics, but also nods to like the films before, like Shakespeare still being a bust in the Wayne Mansion, that giant Shakespeare bust. Things like that I think really call it out. Obviously Wayne Tower, that kind of stuff. Yeah. But dope.
Go see it.
Do it.
The other fucking DC movies look like that, except for Black Adam. Black Adam looks fucking cool.
Well, of course, you got Pierce Brosnan, a couple people like that. That was the other trailer I got, the DC combos.
DC, yeah, I saw that and I was like, man, I could give a fuck about Aquaman. I could also mostly give a fuck about the Flash movie.
I saw
movie looks pretty cool.
I saw a clip. They were like, "How's that feel? How's that feel to be here supporting your stepdaughter, Jason Momoa?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's weird for my kids. Their dad's Aquaman, their sister's Catwoman." I'm like, yeah, it's got to be super bizarre, dude. Like,
I love the fact. Okay, so like, Jason Momoa. I love Jason Momoa. I love the fact. Not love the fact that him and Lisa Bonet split. But like now they're back together working.
Yeah, trying again.
I was like, we need that in the world.
Hell yeah!
Like we're in a fucking, in a pandemic, precipice of a global conflict.
All you need is love, man.
Government is absolutely fucking terrible right now. But like, yeah, that was kind of nice to hear that Lisa Bonet and Jason Momoa are working on their marriage.
Hell yeah! Man, I know it was like it's our usual time, about an hour and a half episode.
Hour and a half.
Very small amount of things up front, but damn, you can't just very quickly get through 3 hours of content, and we just barely touched the surface, dude. We barely touched the surface. There's so much in there.
I know. Go watch the movie. We didn't even talk about Andy Serkis. Go watch.
We didn't talk about Andy Serkis. We didn't talk about Penguin really. We barely touched. We just said Jonathan Turturro's in it. We didn't give anything away about his relationship with other characters in it. We didn't really talk about Catwoman. I mean, the movie's called The Batman. Maybe next week we'll talk about the Catwoman. You know what I'm saying? Yep. So, God, if you got the time, according to this image I've got on my screen, it's in theaters, and then there's a HBO Max release.
That would be cool.
This might just be a fan-made
look it up right now.
Picture, so hopefully that's not.
I'm looking it up right now.
Please don't hold me accountable for this image. I've given photo credit to YouTube. I didn't say which channel. But I highly doubt it was also released today. That'd be crazy. I'd be so pissed. I actually went in the theater, had to hear some people chirping for a little bit. But
April.
There you go. I knew it was like 45 days or something like that. It was like
45 days. Yeah,
that's it. So there you go. Mid-April. Go check it out, or go in theaters in the middle of a matinee because ain't nobody there right now. But so good.
Do one of those.
Good. That wraps it up for this week, episode 33. Again, thanks to our sponsor, Tough Wraps. Thank you, Dom, as always, for being here. Thank you, chat, Chu Mahaffey, and that random guy, Ernest Hawkins, at the beginning of the show. Never heard of that guy.
That dude's cool.
Yeah, he
that
sounds.
Guy fucks. This guy fucks.
Just like Mads Mikkelsen, this guy fucks. But yeah, see you next time. As always, peace.
Peace.
God, yes, sir. Such a good episode.